our radio show on Talk Radio and on television. James Whale breaks the news. We're live, and if you can only hear us at the moment, you'd like to watch us, then go to YouTube, go to Facebook, go to Twitter, Ricky, where else could they go?
Facebook, YouTube, Twitter and Periscope as well.
Fantastic, that's right here. We'll talk to Ricky the Remain a little later. Let me introduce you now to a panel of people I've had. Some you've seen before, some you haven't. Mr. Jonny Gould, well-known broadcaster, a man who gets paid a fortune to wear those glasses. And very nice they are too. Mr. Scott Ainslie, who is an MEP for the Brexit Party.
No, I'm not. Take that again.
Oh, no, it's for the Green Party, yeah, my joke. But he just looks like a Brexit Party MP to me, but there we are. Also, we've got Mr. Patrick Christie here. Hello. No relationship to Tony Christie.
No.
Okay. Because Tony Christie had some great songs. Did you ever know those?
Yeah, no, I can't sing, so he's definitely not genetic.
Okay.
Better than Tom
Jones.
Jones.
Patrick's a journalist, by the way. And then have we got the very lovely Emily Houston,
Hewertson. It is a tricky one.
It's a what?
Tricky one.
Oh, tricky one, yes, it is. And she's here. Of course, she's very right-wing and also very well-known on YouTube, I believe.
Twitter.
Oh, Twitter.
Yeah, but it's all the same.
I thought you were going on YouTube.
Really, Absolutely.
It began with a T anyway, didn't it? Right. Also, welcome Ricky the Remainer. Ricky the Remainer over here, who, of course, is here every week just to pick up your tweets, your texts, your emails, your anything you want to do to get in touch with us. Ricky will tell you how to do that right now. Ricky.
Yes. Well, I mean, we've had this petition going to get the old music back, and I can assure you only one person has signed the petition so far. So if you want to get involved in the show, please tweet us or message on Facebook, YouTube or Periscope, anything to do with the debate this evening, not just the theme music.
And please, could you refrain from being rude about Ricky? He's only got one suit, and he cleans it every week, he washes the shirt, but he's only got one.
Or James's receding hairline. It's very sensitive.
Oh, dear. I don't have any hair. What are you talking about, receding hairline? And by the way, if we look on top of your head, when you get to my age, you'll be totally bald. So anyway, shall we start this off now with Brexit? We break the news. We talk about the news in a way that maybe other people don't. But let's talk about Brexit, because next week, the 31st of October, I am leaving the European Union without a deal. I don't give a stuff one way or the other. I am leaving the European Union, and if you want to join me, you can too. Scott, what are your thoughts on this? I mean, I know the Green Party don't make their mind up about anything, but what do you think about it?
On the contrary, we do make up our minds about something. We were the first people to call for a people's vote back in 2016, because I think, like Jacob Rees-Mogg, he said himself, this needs a confirmatory referendum on the final deal. I'll tell you why we should remain in the EU, because remaining in the EU is the best deal that this country can get. So on the bus, we had figures of 350 million a week for the NHS. Let's put the fact that already Brexit has cost the equivalent of 440 million a week because of all the lost business opportunities. And it's just going to get worse. Think when you go abroad, you won't be able to get the deal with your roaming charges. You won't be able to get free hospital treatment if you're in Spain on your holiday and you break your leg. So I think this is an absolute nightmare for the British public. And I think it's time to just put this away and just stick with the deal that we have, which is to remain in the EU.
So, to put that succinctly, you don't believe in democracy, you're going to stay in the EU. Emily,
I believe
what do you think?
So much in democracy, James, that you don't have less democracy by having another vote. Let's have another vote.
We don't need a vote.
We had a vote. We don't need a vote.
Even
in vote leave areas, 65 on average, 65%, even in vote leave areas, now want to have a final say on this deal because they know that it's going. Why is it rubbish?
That is complete rubbish because
where
you
are you
have
getting your
no
facts
figures
from?
to prove that.
Yes, I do.
Everybody I meet when I walk down the street, at least 10 people a day, say they want to leave.
Yeah.
I'll probably meet
if you look at the website, Best for Britain, and you see
I don't
in
look
vote
at that
leave
sort of stuff because that's biased in your favour. Emily, what do you think?
Well.
What for, Emily?
Well, I am a Democrat. Would you describe yourself as a Democrat?
Of course I'm a Democrat.
So why do you not respect one of the biggest democratic mandates of all time?
Look, I think that this
scaremongering is exactly why Leave won. It is exactly, and if there was another referendum and Remain won, should Remain only have to win one referendum for it to be the status quo? Is that how it works?
If you're a true Democrat, you would have a people's vote.
Let's have a general election.
Let's have a general election. Whatever, but let's get out of the state that we're in.
Let's leave the European Union
because government
cannot
decide. Government cannot decide. It needs to go back to the people.
Patrick,
through a general election.
Well, whatever. I think we have to appreciate for a second that in this country currently we have a parliament that is blocking any kind of Brexit, it's blocking any kind of no deal, and it's blocking a general election. It's more like North Korea than the United Kingdom, to be perfectly honest with you. The idea that you would come out in the name of democracy by trying to overturn the vote of 17.4 million people and let us walk back into a club, the leaders of which most people in this country can't name, for goodness sake, who have barely elected themselves, and most of them are completely white as well. Let's be honest, it's not exactly the kind of ethnic smorgasbord that fully represents the European. It's not complete lie. Have a look at them.
The British public.
What do you think?
Well, can I add? This is like 60 seconds, isn't it? Can I add anything to what you've said? Only what I would say is that this bragging about being the first party to call for a people's vote in 2016 is a bit of a... Because, of course, your hunch was that you were going to win, and you lost.
Yes.
So I'll stick that one back in the old basket.
You'd lose again.
I'm talking about the fact that as soon as the referendum came out, Caroline Lucas, like Jacob Rees-Mogg...
Who's Caroline Lucas?
The MP for the Green Party.
Oh, you've got one. Of
Yeah,
course, I
we've
remember
got one.
now. Yes.
Unlike the Brexit Party. Yes, absolutely. So she said
I
back
wonder
then...
about just a minute. Caroline, if you'd like to come on the show in the future, we'd love to have you come on. Sorry, go on.
Great. Okay. Well, that's it. I mean, basically... Yeah. The Parliament cannot decide. It's not that there's a bunch of...
3.5 years ago.
I know, but the MPs can't work that out,
I voted to remain. I'm part of the problem, but
so
I saw the
James?
light. Well, I'll tell you what happened. I realised that actually the European Union, now I love Europe, I go there a lot, the Europeans are my friends, we're all friends together. Unfortunately, the Parliament isn't democratic. It spends too much money. You're going to listen, and I'm going to tell you. And the European Union is not so much a union, it's more a European empire. Yeah. And all empires fail. Johnny.
And James is exactly the idea that the Remainers go on about, which is 3.5 years ago, he didn't know what he was voting for.
Exactly. Thank you very much.
Now he votes to leave.
Ricky. Are we doing anything on social media?
Yeah, I think you've got people going this evening, James. So well done to you. We'll start off with Bad Mojo. It says, just one more referendum. Why not 8 or 26? Jib Lob.
Why not one every month?
Yeah, I'll do it.
Yeah.
Jib Lob on YouTube says, don't leave the EU because of roaming charges. Ha ha ha. Thank you, Jib Lob. Michael Paul McVeigh on Facebook, he says, if it gets rid of the Conservative government once and for all, yes, please. So I guess, obviously, depending on the results of the general election, Michael would be happy
Hang on, what was his name?
Michael Paul McVeigh.
Really? You would like a sort of Marxist government of Jeremy Corbyn? Well, good luck with you.
And Lorraine, also on Facebook, she says, no, I don't want a general election. Boris has got a deal. Get on with it.
Actually, I don't think we need a deal. I just think we need to leave, and then they'll do a deal. Then they will be begging us for a free trade deal. Everything will be fine. Emily.
I agree. It's literally got to the point where it's like, please, can we just leave? It is now a case of the people versus Parliament. And I think at the next election, the only positive that we can really take from all of this is I think people will vote for the Conservatives, because this whole, blocking of the timetable, doing everything in their power to miss the 31st of October deadline will really play into Boris's...
Now, Emily, you're very unusual because you're a young person, and all young people, well, compared with everybody here, you are... Oh, sorry, Patrick. You're a young person, and you are supposed to be in favour of remaining in the EU.
Well, it's funny you should say that, because if you ask, the children of Greece, I think they'd very much be on board with me. I mean, youth unemployment in the Eurozone is sky high.
Didn't Greece bail out? Didn't the EU bail out Greece?
and Ireland. And also Spain's another example. So, if you look across the European...
Am I not right there, Scott?
Yes, you're exactly right.
Well, no, if you look
Ricky, when we need balance, I'll let you know in the meantime.
Yeah, all right, pipe down.
Thank you, James.
Yeah, pipe down over there, Ricky.
It's 3 against 1, or 4 against 1, to be honest.
Sorry, Mr. Gould, you're feeling left out down there, aren't you?
Well, I don't mind watching. It's quite
Wait till
nice.
we get on
It's
to
quite a good
Extinction
view.
Rebellion. You're on the ball.
The children from Greece, the kids from Fame, whoever you ask, they all want to leave. And you know what the Greeks are talking about? They don't have a great history with Germany, and what they're worried about is that Britain in the EU was an important counterbalance to German power. What is German power? It is the European Union. And when we leave, Germany will be a disproportionate power in the EU. That is why Greeks would like us to stay in the EU, and that really is the only one.
Patrick.
I can't understand what people are so afraid of. I can't understand why people are so afraid that Britain might not be able to do all right, not just on its own, it's not talking about on its own. We've got the Commonwealth out there, we will get a workable trade deal with the European Union. And when people go, actually, we need to stop this Boris Johnson withdrawal agreement because it leaves open a loophole to Brexit. He did something in 84 days that Theresa May couldn't do in 3.5 years. What makes you think we're going to end up leaving with no deal realistically? Just get on with it.
Scott. Okay, thank you, Scott.
I don't know what to say about that. You've got a 4 against 1 here. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. I think there's a lot of privileged people here. As a Lambeth councillor, I have seen the effects of inequality in this country and 15 years of Tory austerity.
I'm serious. Don't start talking rubbish. Don't bring up the idea that there is a class system in this country, because there isn't. We're all ordinary
with
people.
Money and there are those with not, and the inequality gap is going like that. It's ridiculous.
There will always be people with money, and there will always be people with less money. You've got to get over it, okay?
Yeah,
and people are not
the
same. Everybody thinks they're special. We all think we're better than somebody else inside ourselves.
Now, mate.
Let's not go down that line.
Look, I have seen the division between the rich and poor in London go like that since over the last 20, 30 years. Have we not?
No. It's the assets that people hold, it's not the cash.
What about those people
are
with
asset
no
rich
money
and
in the
penny
north?
poor.
North that
It's just
voted
not right.
for Brexit and voted for Leave and voted to get
and if the referendum in 2016, do you want to leave Westminster, yes or no, the referendum result would have been the same. It doesn't matter what you put in the ballot box. The people in the north wanted to send a signal to the rich people in the south that we will have no more. We will have no more of the ridiculous level of inequality.
So far south as far as Brussels, actually. That's where they were sending
I'll tell you what we do, right? We separate the United Kingdom because you want to leave, we want to leave Europe. So we cut off Scotland, because I detect a Scottish accent. We cut off Scotland and Wales, and we get on with it, because how much we've got a debt of how many trillion, and Scotland's part of the debt will be quite huge. But good luck with that. We'll do that if you want.
I think Scotland's economy has kept this country afloat for many, many years due to the oil industry, don't you think?
No, I don't. And don't start taking the whatever the word I was going to use was.
Don't try and play on anything about my accent. Thanks very much.
Your accent is your accent, isn't it? We all are blessed with your accent. You started the class war. I will finish it. Ricky.
We'll start with William on YouTube. He says, long story short, if you voted Remain, you'll think of any excuse to deny a general election. Everyone else welcomes one. Job done. Well, I voted Remain. However, I think I'm going to announce it now, James. I think I'm a Brexiteer. I'm absolutely done with it. I'm done with it. I'm going to say, I'm going to need a new name. I'm bored of it. I want a general election. So look, I'm a disagree with here, William. But look,
join me. Yeah. Me and Ash said yesterday, we are leaving the European Union next week. Deal or no deal, we don't care. We are leaving it. We'll carry our passports when we go abroad. We've never needed them yet. But we'll carry our passports. Actually, when I think about it, actually, they do ask to look at your passport when you go through Dover. But we're leaving next week. So if anybody wants to leave, join us. We're leaving.
I'm in.
Have you got enough money to leave? Have you got enough money to leave? He might, but I don't. All right, if he pays, right. Okay, well, there you go.
The bumper sticker, we was there when Ricky said he was a Brexiteer. Yeah. A bumper sticker on everyone's car.
Can you order about 2,000?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. All right,
3,000.
If you are a Remainer, please, in the interest of balance, call us, get in touch with us, and Ricky will be delighted to read out your points. He's not really becoming a Brexiteer. What he really is doing is trying to dissuade people from insulting him quite so much online.
James, it was only 2 months ago you came out as a Brexiteer as well. I thought I'd just follow you.
Yeah, well, I think it was 3 or 4 months, but yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And I've been thinking about it quite a long time.
Have you?
Yeah.
No, I had, why were you calling nasty names to people like Nigel Farage at the time, then?
I never call Nigel, who's a friend of mine, as you well know, nasty names. Nigel and I get on
very well.
What about
all those stupid Brexiteers you referred to for the last 2.5 years?
Well, those were in fact, I saw some of those outside Parliament with huge banners and wearing grey tracksuits. I really can't stand people with grey tracksuits. I find that really quite offensive. Nearly as offensive as cyclists, but not quite.
Would you like some more on social media?
I'd love some more, yeah.
Phil Hunt on YouTube. He says, I want... I was very careful to say Phil Hunt. Very careful to say it. I want no deal. Every MP that has ignored their electorate should be removed from office and should be banned from resitting / reselection. And Andy Triller on Facebook, he says, if Boris gets this deal, what will happen to all the money that's been put away to prepare for no deal? Which might be a good question for the panel.
OK, we'll come back to that. I want to ask something else. Has Jeremy Corbyn got a chance of winning an election?
Thank goodness no. In 2017, he did have a chance, but he's been outed, shamed and humiliated as a politician, as a human being, as an anti-Semite, as everything. He's a disgraceful individual, and there is no place for him in Parliament, in elected discourse.
His USP is a deeply principled man, but he's a lifelong Brexiteer. He's now coming out for Remain.
Exactly. He's disgusting.
That's his USP, and he's proven himself not to be a deeply principled bloke, and that's my point. At the minute, you say he couldn't sort out anti-Semitism. He can't decide where he is on Brexit. He doesn't want a general election. What is the point of you, Jeremy Corbyn?
Scott,
seriously.
I think he's probably in a difficult position. His party is obviously very split. I think that a lot of there's about 20 odd MPs that are from Vote Leave constituencies that feel as though they're doing their constituents a favour by siding with the Tories to try and push through this rush deal from a man who went to Eton, and I don't know, maybe it's a bit of sexism. It's a bloke that sorted out the deal.
I know what you mean. I get that.
I'm going to shut up now because James has stopped listening.
No, I get what you mean.
Do you know what I mean? Good. I think he's been ineffectual. You know, he's I don't know. I mean, he's been conflicted.
Yes or a no, Scott? I'm losing the will.
He's been conflicted. Yes.
Fine, Emily.
Well, if he could win a general election, he'd be having one, surely. He'd be, voting for it. And what I find very, very interesting about Jeremy Corbyn is he harps on about how he's so confident he's going to win a general election, but he said he will only have one if we take no deal off the table. If he's so confident he'll win, then he'll be in government, able to take no deal off the table. Bit interesting that, isn't it?
Answer me this. What is the point of doing a deal with anybody when you say, we're not going to not do a deal, so let's do a deal? How do you actually take no deal off? I mean, that is the most ridiculous, stupid thing I've ever heard.
Well, it's exactly. But Jeremy Corbyn, I think, wants to cut Britain off at the knees, doesn't he? And we talk about the financial implication of a no-deal Brexit. What about the financial implication of John McDonnell, for goodness sake? I mean, he's basically to the banks what Guy Fawkes was to Parliament, isn't he?
The quiet man. Ricky, your friend Jeremy.
I think he's an idiot. I've actually never been.
Hang on.
I've never voted Labour. Are
you sure?
No, look. I said to you this about 2 months ago that I was politically aligned with the Lib Dems. However, at the Lib Dem Party conference, when they said they weren't going for a second vote or a people's vote, whatever they want to call it, when they said they were just trying to block Brexit, that's where I had enough.
Hang on, just
absolutely
a minute,
done with it.
I don't know. Is the nurse in? I think we might need to get the nurse in.
No, because look, being a Liberal Democrat, I agree with the whole point of democracy, but it isn't about blocking Brexit.
Then why are we leaving the European Union when we voted to leave 3.5 years ago? I didn't vote, but I realised that's what... I mean, I voted, but I voted to remain. That's what we're supposed to do.
6 or 9 months ago, Theresa May should have got herself together and said, look, we have to have a people's vote. We're now so past that. You
can't have a people... You can't have another referendum when you haven't adhered to the first one.
But the argument to say that neither side knew... I know it sounds cliche that people didn't know what they voted for, but clearly there is so much more information that is out now than there was at the time. Now, I know you're going to hate me for saying that, Johnny, but we are now so far down the line that we need to sort out something. Because at the moment, it's an absolute car crash. The Lib Dems, I have no idea what their game plan is. They're obviously just trying to steal from the Remainers in the Labour Party. The Brexit Party are going to steal from the Labour Party. So I have no idea who the Labour Party are appealing to. The Lib Dems have lost all respect. Who do I vote for at the next election?
Right.
I am politically homeless.
Right. You can vote for the Green Party at the next election. Yeah. And then Scott might get 2 people in Parliament. Johnny?
The answer to that question, Ricky, is we vote for stability. Now, I'm not a card-carrying member of the Conservative Party, but they are the darndest nearest to achieving some sort of stability after October the 31st, or the flextension or whatever
Get
it
in there,
is.
Patrick,
Well,
if you
this is
want.
it, isn't
All
it?
of
Which
you.
is that, right, by the time we've had a second referendum, and goodness knows what the result of that would be, and then another general election, and whatever, we're another 3 years down the line. Our economy is going to be knackered. It's this self-fulfilling prophecy.
already knackered.
Oh, it's only because of people like you who don't let us get the ball rolling.
That's nonsense.
How are you
That's
going to
nonsense.
feel?
It's the
How are you
Tory
gonna-
party.
How are you
it's the
going to
MPs
feel
that we have currently.
All right.
If the MPs in the government right now can't make a decision, it's time to replace
Not being funny,
to
mate.
replace them
the
all.
Green Party,
But
the
hold
Green
on a sec.
Party
Let me
couldn't
finish
run
my
a bath,
point.
let alone a country. All right,
If
I
I could
just
just
walk my dog, mate. I mean, I don't really understand how
all right,
this
okay.
is going to happen.
Well, I don't think you could write an article for the Guardian.
but
How
come on,
about that? I mean, come on. I mean,
Excuse me, that word is not allowed on this show. All right?
Or in-
After what they've said about me in the past, that
well, the
word
only
is not
decent
allowed.
newspaper. I mean, come on.
Well, yeah, you'd like to live in a sort of communist state where we only have one newspaper and one point of view,
It's
wouldn't you?
ridiculous. No. I mean, look, I think that the MPs haven't been able to sort it out. We say we want to take
realise
back
that.
control. We can't take back control. You say we want more democracy. Most of the seats that are contested in the UK's general election are already fixed and have been fixed for years. There's hardly...
Don't get upset about it. That's what
I'm only
democracy
just trying to
does.
get a word in edgeways because it's one
I
against
think
five.
you had a lot of say. Go on.
All right, okay. Well, no, I mean, it's...
entirely right. I mean,
It is. Come on, all the seats
move.
are tied
There
up.
are democratic changes. I
There
mean,
are
if you
some
look at
Tory
Boris's-
seats that have not changed for over 100 years.
Guys, I think it would be nice to hear from Emily.
I just wanted. So are you in favour of proportional representation?
I am.
The only problem with that is we'd constantly have a coalition. Do you really want a coalition of chaos?
How much coalition governments have you looked into, Emily?
Well, come on. I mean,
And what happens everywhere
because-
else in the... What are the London elections like? And
No.
what is any other part of the United Kingdom
I don't think you should
government
hold
like?
London
What is the
under
European
their current
Union?
mayor up as an example.
Countries like?
Well, I think the only way to solve this deadlock, because at the moment we're not getting anywhere. I mean, Boris, he's running a minority government. The only option here is to have a general election. It's a very unfortunate option, but we are so stuck in a rut with these blooming House of Remain Parliament. It's so frustrating that the only thing I can see to do is to drain the swamp.
Most of the
Drain
people...
the swamp.
Most of the people, Emily, most of the people that stop this going through are also conservatives, right?
In what sense?
Well,
what going through specifically?
Well, I mean,
Sorry.
there was no deal stopped by Letwin's amendment. There are
Conservatives
Tories
in
that
inverted
know that this is
love
bad
this
for the
to
country.
carry on. We're going to have to take a short but meaningful break. Keep getting in touch. And please don't be rude about Ricky. He's seen the light. But, of course, we would love Scott to have a few more people, of course. I think you're fairly representative here when I think you've only got one Green member of Parliament. So I think, that's kind of reasonably well represented. Yeah. But anyway, we're going to talk about Extinction Rebellion and what a waste of time they were when we come back. Well, welcome back. James Whale breaks the news on TV, and of course you can hear us on the James Whale Show live on Talk Radio until 8 o'clock this evening, and then we carry on the radio. And if you want to phone me on the radio part of the show this evening and talk about Brexit, feel free. I'm leaving next week. I don't know about you. 03444991000. If you want to watch us on TV, here's Ricky the Remainer, that is now Ricky the Brexiteer, or I might just call him RB for short, to tell you how you can watch.
Yeah, well, we're asking tonight, do you want a general election? You can watch us and get involved in the show on Facebook, YouTube, Periscope and Twitter, and I'll keep a beady eye on all of your messages.
Right, I would like us to move on from Brexit now, although the producer would like to stay on Brexit, so you can change the slide behind me. And I want to just get this last business out of the way. And seeing we are lucky enough to have one of the few Green MEPs with us, Scott, here today, I want to know your thoughts, Scott, on Extinction Rebellion's protest, which did nothing except annoy lots of people. And we're never going to change the way the planet's going, by the way. It's not going to happen. And it cost £37 million. Not only did it cost £37 million, they also left 80 tonnes of rubbish. For people who are so concerned about the state of this planet, they are disgusting. What are your thoughts?
Boris Johnson spent £54 million on the Garden Bridge that went to nothing.
What on earth is it with politicians who, when you
wanted
ask
to
them a
mention
question,
the money. So there's a counter to the money argument. But seriously,
Boris Johnson wasted loads of money on that and Boris Island. I'm not interested in that. I'm asking you about Extinction Rebellion.
So no, I'm just putting it into proportion.
You're not putting it into proportion.
But how have you done any sums in terms of what the environmental impact is going to be on London alone of cataclysmic climate breakdown? Have you done that?
Don't be so ridiculous. There's no such thing as cataclysmic climate breakdown.
The science is there, James. Are you going to deny the science? Are you suddenly an expert?
Do you know
more expert than the science?
Changes its mind continually.
They've been consistent on this for over 30 years, and you know it. You know it.
That is
people
nothing.
like you know this.
No,
I've just been.
Don't patronise me. I don't like it.
No. Well, I'm sorry,
I was going to
James.
invite you on the radio show afterwards, but I'm thinking very seriously about not.
Well,
bothering.
that's your choice.
You're not going to his birthday party.
No, you're definitely not going
I'm
to
really
my
gutted.
birthday
I am
party.
so gutted.
Let me just seriously tell you my thoughts. Right.
Yeah.
The climate is changing. It will always change. Mankind will have an effect on climate change because everything has an effect on climate change. But all these ridiculous issues that are brought up, particularly by Greta, what's her name, going across in a boat and everything else, is this is a death cult, really, in my view. And this is not going to do any good at all. If we were to suddenly, everyone on the planet, stop driving cars, stop using fossil fuels, stop doing everything, stop eating meat, it might change the climate. It might not change the climate in a good direction. Nobody knows. The climate will always change. The sea levels have always risen and fallen. What we should be doing is taking better care of our planet, tidying our planet up, because Britain is a particularly messy place, and we should be making sure we are ready for future climate changes, because in this particular country, the East Coast is going to get smaller. The tide's going to come in. It's done it before. It'll do it again. That's what I'm saying. Now, scientists can prove almost anything they want. And we're listening to one batch of scientists. OK? I'm so sorry.
98% of the scientific community.
It could be 100%. It could be 100%.
I left off 2% just to kind of, just give you the benefit of the doubt. I was trying to be charitable. Look, you can no longer deny the science. I've just been in Strasbourg debating this issue, and it beggars belief that you still get people on the far right still coming out with climate change.
Excuse me, I'm not on the far right. Don't excuse.
I'm just saying in Strasbourg.
I'm just
not
talking to you sensibly,
James,
like a sensible
I do
person.
apologise. I didn't mean you. I'm talking about the people in Strasbourg. People on the far right in Strasbourg still saying that the science is all wrong. It's just we've gone beyond this. It's just political spin to benefit financially in the short term, and it's not looking to the long term at all. Right now, we are consuming at the rate that would require 5 planets. We only have 1. So, in 2000,
what are you going to do?
Hold on a second. To get back to Extinction Rebellion,
Oh, forget them, they're
well,
gone.
hold on a sec. The top issue before Extinction Rebellion took to the streets the first time 6 months ago, immigration was the top of the agenda. Climate change suddenly went right to the top of the agenda, and people are now looking to declare climate emergencies. Our own government has, the regional government in London has, and we have in my local council we've declared climate emergencies, and we're doing it all over the country because people realise that there are tangible risks of, particularly in London, rising sea levels and flooding in our metro system. If we do not act now, have you got kids? Have you got grandchildren? Anything like that? When they say to you, in 5 years' time, you had a chance to act, what will you say to them?
They won't say that because they're intelligent people, not like your idea.
Look.
If you've got any thoughts, call us, get in touch, text us, get in touch with Ricky, because this is one of the most annoying things ever. Because every time, coming to you, Patrick, every time you talk about this, then you're called a climate change denier, which I find offensive as well. I am not, just a minute, I am talking to the public, not you. I actually admit that the climate changes, it's always changed, it will always change. The only reason we have ice and snow at the poles is because that is the remnants of the last ice age. And eventually we will go into another ice age. Patrick, it will be delightful to hear from you.
Yeah, well, I mean, I actually went to some of the Extinction Rebellion stuff just to have a look, and for a bunch of people who go on about noxious substances being released into the atmosphere, they didn't have to release a few themselves, to be perfectly honest with you. How many knife crimes happened and were not dealt with by police because they were dealing with a load of dreadlock people? How many people tried to get into Guy's Hospital with a critical emergency, but someone chained to a ruddy boat in the middle of the bridge stopped them from doing it? These people really care. I don't think they do. In fact, the only reason they're allowed to do it is because they didn't have jobs in the first place.
That's ridiculous. You had doctors, you had scientists, you had all sorts of professionals. You even had police officers, senior police officers, campaigning for Extinction Rebellion and saying this is the only way. When governments fail to act,
there's a way of doing it.
Come on, you're just doing express headlines.
Why don't you go to China and do it? Why don't you go to China and do it? They're pumping a load of stuff out. We're the eighth best country in the world.
Exactly. Let's get our own house in order first before we start pushing everywhere else.
By 2040, there will be no petrol or diesel cars sold in this country. Tell me, the other countries, go over there and complain to them.
Ricky, what's going on?
Well, a lot of people are still going on about Brexit, but it's still going on. But we've got Sam B who says technology is the answer, not people like Greta Thunberg, which I am inclined to agree with. Now, personally, I know you hate it when I go off like this, James, but I'm going to do it anyway. Personally, I don't agree with the Extinction Rebellion protest. However,
no, you've not changed there as well, have you?
No, I've said this, I've been consistent with this as well, but the way that they're doing it is not the best way. Now, you've heard these stories that it cost, whatever, was it 37 or 39 million?
Producer thinks you're turning right on the show before everybody's eyes.
Why wasn't that money invested in green think tanks or green technology and coming up with fantastic ways of making travel? Just this week, India announced this new railway station and railway track that was all powered 100% by solar power. Why are we not doing that sort of stuff? 39 million could have gone a long way into making plans.
I've often said that because long trains coming out of London Bridge Station, where we're based here, could have solar panels on the roof. It could be easily done.
Easily?
Yeah.
And I don't know why we don't do it. Why aren't we doing it, Scott?
We're not doing it because the Conservative government that promised they got in because they, hold on a sec. Because they said they were going to be the greenest, Conservative government ever, and they had the tree and everything.
People like you are stopping them doing it.
They cut all the feed-in tariffs. They've taken away all the incentives, and at the same time, they're still subsidising nuclear industry, fossil fuel industries.
We should have put more
if you want
into
real
nuclear,
change,
in my
you
view.
invest in solar technology and you invest in wind farms. We need to go we need to be far more ambitious than that in that. And then we can get to a situation where we're not adding to the heating of the planet.
The Extinction Rebellion were useful for one thing, okay? And that one thing was a meter of our political stability, because in every other country of Europe, if there had been a similar kind of anarchist march like that, all the yellow vests would have got on board, all the socialist workers, all the nut jobs, all the people that want to destabilise our country would have done so. They didn't come out. Yeah. And so the Extinction Rebellion, pointless, awful, useless bunch, did show us one thing, that this country is more stable than the media makes out.
Look what happened at Cannon Street Station when people decided we're not going to be told what we can and cannot do by a couple of idiots on top of a train.
Canning Town,
Where did I say?
Cannon Street.
Did I really?
It's a bit
I beg your
posher,
pardon. It starts with a C. It's dyslexia. Emily, you haven't said much about this.
Well, what I find very interesting is that,
Because it's your world, Emily. You're inheriting.
Oh, yeah, my world. If I even make it, because, apparently we're all going to die before that. Very worrying times.
Emily, I can see us all being in a country with you as the new Prime Minister.
Oh, I like that vision.
Yeah,
we
I
can
think
go
that's
with
where it's
that.
gonna go, yeah.
I don't think.
No, Scott's not keen on that, but
he's
anyway.
not. He's not so keen on that one. I just don't.
I think you'll turn.
Really?
I think you'll change eventually. Yeah.
It'll be a coalition.
I mean, this is what's great. People change their minds, right? So there you go. I mean, Ricky's changed his mind.
Come on, Emily,
You're
don't
likely
let
to
them
change
talk
yours.
over you.
I just don't really understand the point of the protest. I mean, a lot of people care about climate change, and it's something that, they're very worried about, and they want the government to take action. But this is absolutely not the way to go about it. I mean, we had people with white face paint and, red snaky hair looking like Medusa or something. I just do not understand how that is helping the climate in any way.
You can agree that no one wants to die from the awful effects of air pollution, whatever form they take, whether it's asthma or lung cancer. No one wants that in their lives or for their families. So I think we can all agree, that even if you don't agree about climate change or man is quickening the speed of climate change, surely we can all agree that we don't want air pollution at the levels that we have at the moment. So we could all work towards reducing that.
I would agree
and
with
we
that
can all agree.
wholeheartedly, but lots of petrol and diesel engines now are far cleaner than they have ever been before. What we should perhaps do is look at the old bangers, the buses, the trucks that are polluting and get them off the roads. Have you got anything from people who are watching and listening to this programme, rather than giving us continually the thoughts of Ricky the Remainer who's pretending to be on our side?
I know you love my opinions, James. Bradley Wright says, in relation to why we don't have solar panel trains, it's because he says they'll never get out of the station, which I assume is a reference to our train staff. Boj has just said, does anyone watch Homeland? Because the Green Party MEP looks like Saul Berenson.
I thought that, actually.
I'll take that. I'll take that.
Yeah, no, I thought that
was great.
That, or I thought he looked like a Brexiteer, actually. But anyway, go on.
And we've got a lot of people disagreeing with the 98% claim, which I also agree with you on, Scott. Don't think you're alone on this. I agree with you on the consensus.
What do you think it is? What is it?
Everyone just say that you're talking nonsense and that you're incorrect. I mean, I don't want to go into the actual words, but they're disagreeing with you wholeheartedly at this point.
Okay.
Never mind. At least you look like a film star, so that's one good thing, isn't it, in your favour. This is James Hoyle Breaks the News. We've got some important discussions about the royal family, and I really want to throw in the BBC licence fee because I think it is the beginning of the end for the BBC. Oh, and we've got a little bit of entertainment for you, I'm told, but I have no idea what it is, so there we are. I had a thought that Ricky is coming over to the microphone and going to sing some songs, but there's something, I don't know, I've got a feeling there is something going to happen on this show that I don't know anything about, which I'm slightly worried about. Anyway, join us after the news. See you then. Oh, no, join us after the commercial break. See you then. Yeah. Welcome back. James Whale Breaks the News on TV, the James Whale Radio Show. I've just heard in the break, unfortunately, a couple of idiots have glued themselves to the doors of the studio. I've no idea how I'm going to get out. Very sorry indeed, but there we are. Mr. Jonny Gould's on the panel today. Scott Ainslie, MEP for the Green Party, is here with us today. Emily Hewertson, Young Conservative and Brexit social media star, and we think possible Prime Minister of the future. Patrick Christie, the journalist, is here with us. We've been discussing the stories in the news. Unfortunately, I feel Scott is probably in the minority at the moment, so maybe it is a good time to have a general election. Let's clear Parliament out. And, of course, we have got Ricky, the Remainer, who's changed and is now a Brexit... What the... What?
Who's that walking over
Hang on.
It's
Hang
Mr.
on.
Bum.
Who are you?
Who is
Who's-
that
who-
sitting in his chair?
Who
It's Mr. Bum. Donald Trump! Who is that melting all our hearts? Who is that blowing it all apart? It's Mr. Bum. It's Donald Trump. Yeah.
Who is that walking through the graveyard? It's Mr. Bum.
Who's that being so ever slightly avant-garde? It's Donald Trump. Yeah. Wiggling it. Who is that just smashing it? It's Donald Trump. Woo-hoo. Mr. Bum. Woo-hoo. Shut up! Who's that?
Mr. Trump.
Who's that?
What the hell is going on?
Who's that?
Enjoying.
It's only Mr. Bum, yeah! That was my Paul McCartney, did you like it? Stop the music! Okay, I'd just like to say, ladies and gentlemen, I am Brexit.
Excuse me.
You've created Brexit. James,
Who are you?
I'm Brexit.
You're Brexit.
You know, apparently if you believe in something and you
Yeah.
think about it all the time, it becomes a reality.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just a bit out of breath.
We're doing a live TV
I'm
show.
Brexit.
Very serious about the news.
I'm
about
very
Brexit.
serious. I'm very serious.
Yeah,
What are you talking
you're-
about?
I say, you just walked in here to sing a song?
No, and to tell you this.
What?
I used to sleep in the shed, right? When I was
Why
when
am
I
I
was
not
when I was a
surprised
teenager,
about
I used to
that?
sleep in the shed. I'd got
Yes.
this little transistor radio,
Yeah.
and I used to turn it on,
Yeah.
and it'd be you, James, with this fantastic song that used to go.
Oh, no.
I hear James Whale.
Oh, for goodness
I hear, and I used to listen to you, right? And I had a friend called Andrew Muff, and I used to go round to Andrew Muff's house, right, every Saturday. He used to live at the end of my road, and then he moved to Thackley. You know Thackley?
Thackley in Yorkshire.
So me and
in
Andrew...
West Yorkshire, yeah.
Correct.
Yeah,
So me and Andrew
yeah,
Muff, we sat
yeah,
there.
yeah.
We rang you up at 12
Yeah.
o'clock midnight.
Right, yeah.
Sorry, I'm still out of breath from
No,
Mr.
no,
Bum.
I can
so
tell,
we rang
yeah,
you at midnight, right?
Yep.
We couldn't get through,
Yeah.
And then suddenly,
Yeah.
you came on, Andrew Muff, right, goes...
Andrew Moff, yeah.
Press the card! Press the card! Press the card! Press the card! And every now and then when I think
Yeah.
of you, James, I have to...
Do you know that show had the highest ratings ever? I'm not surprised. Actually, that's some
That
hot
was me.
water, but do you want that? Fine. Security! Could you come and take him
lovely.
off? I'm sorry about it. Just take him off now.
I thought this
No.
was just going to be like
No,
a radio
no,
show
no, off.
with a
Now.
webcam.
No.
I didn't realise it was a proper telly studio.
I'm so sorry about that. I think that was probably Mr. Ross Lee, comedian, who is... Well, I don't know, really. I don't know where to go from here, to be quite honest. Ricky, take it away.
All I could think of was Alan Partridge when that guy turns up saying, James, I'm your biggest fan. That's all I had going around in my head.
Oh, dear,
But-
do you know, I've got to have a sit down. I don't know what I'm going to do. I've lost my earpiece. And anyway, Ricky, what
yeah,
about the listener?
trying to
Yeah.
get back onto a normal thing here.
Yeah.
Martin,
Sorry about that. To all those of you listening, a strange person just obviously came in and, I don't know, I wasn't quite expecting that.
Martin
Did you
Crump-
know about that?
No, I didn't know anything about it.
I don't know
Yeah.
if I believe you.
Martin Crump on YouTube, he says, isn't it ironic how vintage vehicles that chug out the most toxic fumes get free road tax and don't need an MOT? Which is a very good point.
That is a very good point.
And Digger the Dump says, can we get a Brexiteer suit for Ricky? He's going to try and crowdfund one for me, which is very nice.
A Brexiteer suit for you?
Which I think is just a Union Jack,
sort of a Union Jack suit. You look very good in that, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think we'll get you one anyway.
And there's a lot of
I know where I can get one.
A lot of interesting comments about our act.
Yeah, let's hear some. Come on, don't stop there. Come on, read some out. But when you can't read the word, go ... It's easy.
Get out, ellipsis.
Ellipsis?
More I can't read. Thank ellipsis for that.
Anyway, listen. Shall we crack on? We're in the last bit of the show. Anything nice about Ross?
Look, he's a very talented chap. Lovely vocals. I've seen him before.
Go on. More about Ross. Come on. More about Ross. Come on.
Let's have a look. Hang on, that's a Bic pen. That's not my glasses, that's a Bic pen. Let's have a look.
You can't read some of these out, unfortunately.
Mental health is an issue.
No, you can't read that one.
Rory Stewart. I'm hoping I'm hoping that Rory Stewart becomes the London mayor because there you go. I think I'd make a mint, don't you?
Well, actually, what we need to do is we need to stay, go, stay again. So, should we put the PS4 on? Yes, let's have a game of pinball.
You're just going to walk into all your phone out like that, walking around places.
Well, it's the future. The phone. Superman! Hang on, let's have a look. Thank feck for that. Very grey. Rory Stewart, someone get a bone saw.
Oh, that's not.
What are they going to cut off with that?
Do you see why some of these weren't read out?
What the hell?
No, fine.
Is this social media? I don't like it.
No.
This is the devil's work. Let's get rid of it. Can I just say, actually, politics, I know the truth.
Yes, go on.
I think at the end of the day, all the politicians get together in a room, very similar to this, with the red lights. Yeah. They all stand there, curtains open. Yeah. There's a 20-foot glass jar with like green smoke and an eyeball, one eyeball. Yeah. And the eyeball goes, you on the left, you're going to say this tomorrow. You on the right, you're going to say that tomorrow. You in the middle, you're going to die. And it's all a pantomime. And that's the truth.
I think that's about the most sensible thing I've heard tonight, Ross, actually. Thank you very much indeed. Ross Lee, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you. I'm going to go and get the 134 now back to
Thank you.
hell.
Thank you. Right, OK, now, shall we talk a little bit? We haven't got much time left, have we? 5 minutes. The BBC today is going to have the licence fee looked into. Patrick, you're desperate to say something. I feel the vibe from here.
They're just criminalising old people, aren't they, a lot of the time, BBC? No, they seriously are. Seriously. You want some of the most needy people in society who maybe don't have the lowest incomes and are frankly the most lonely, you now want them to pay to watch shows like Britain's Longest Road. Come on.
Well, that's the A1, by the way.
Yeah, I know. I saw 5 episodes on it.
Also, a report out today has revealed that 50% of young viewers have deserted the broadcaster. If they do, in fact, watch BBC programmes, they watch them on Amazon and Netflix, and maybe the licence thing is a thing of the past. What do you think, Emily?
Well, I do think the licence fee is a very kind of ancient concept, and I'm surprised that they're still chugging along. I mean, you've got Gary Lineker as, the highest paid star on the BBC, and it's quite shocking, really, because I don't see him being that impartial.
Well, no, I don't see it. But the thing about the BBC is they should be doing stuff that the commercial broadcaster can't do, in my opinion, and they should be cut right back. They should have a TV channel, a radio channel, and all the local BBC radio stations, because they're important, I think. Johnny?
The BBC has a major credibility problem because most people are driven in this country by a profit motive. And if you give a licence fee to an organisation that has too much editorial budget, it looks at its navel. Just listen to any half hour on Radio 4, you just don't know what they're going to talk about. If you tune into their news programmes, there is an institutional bias which says, we don't work for a living, we get paid something. So like every other organisation in the country, not every, obviously there are public sector organisations as well, like the NHS, which again may need some reform, but the BBC, let's get back to this subject, they need, there is an organisation, there is a precedent for a public service broadcaster funded by sponsorship and advertising, and it's been going for 35 years, and its name is Channel 4. That
Absolutely.
is a public service
Absolutely.
broadcaster with sponsorship
I've
and
only got
advertising.
2 minutes
BBC.
left. I want to go to Scott, and then I want to come to Patrick.
I would have paid the licence fee just for CBeebies alone when my kids were growing up. And David Attenborough, it's well worth it. I mean, you wouldn't have. You don't want these programmes to be interrupted by adverts constantly.
You can have
bombarding us
David
with
Attenborough.
messages.
You can have
on Netflix.
Yeah.
With no, but
Attenborough's latest one's on
then you
Netflix.
would have constant adverts bombarding you all the time. It was good to just put the kids down in front of the television where they could watch 1 hour of
I
uninterrupted
don't really
cartoons.
think that's a good excuse to keep the licence fee. I think the
I would have
BBC
paid
needs
for
to
that
be
alone.
cut back. And I can reveal now that when the job of Director General comes up next year, after their 100th anniversary, I will be applying. Patrick?
Yeah, well, that's interesting you mentioned the Director General there, because whenever,
I bet I get it too.
whenever there's a scandal, he never goes and faces the world's media. He always gets asked some softball questions by BBC reporters like, what are you most proud of? You know, I mean, it's pathetic, really. I think they've got their hand out, and frankly, they should focus more on producing better programmes and do a pay-per-view if you're that bothered by it.
Yeah, I think they should. I mean, they have now got commercial arms of the BBC. They make so I'm there. If I pay a licence fee, I'm a shareholder. So if they sell something that I've contributed to, shouldn't I be getting money back? You know, it's a ridiculous way of doing it. Also, having worked for the BBC from time to time, people get jobs there and they stay there for life. And that doesn't help really in this kind of business, does it?
I don't think
And
it's
like
that-
MPs, I would only have MPs there for 2 terms, no more than that.
lazy.
Because it is.
Yeah, I
Revenue
would agree with that.
earners.
Whatever.
Lazy.
Yeah.
We've agreed at the end of the show. Fantastic.
Finally.
I feel today like I've run a marathon over the last hour. Thank you very much indeed, Ricky.
Yes, we've
No,
got a
no,
few-
I'm just saying, Ricky.
Oh,
I love you.
I know
Bye.
you do. I know. Do you want your social media?
No, I think they finished. Oh no, we're still on. Don't forget, after the news, I'll be on the radio. You can join me then. Ricky might come in and put his 2 pence as well. You might as well join me on the radio and explain why you've changed.